Oklahoma's own News 9 in high definition.
The side of the federal building has been blown off.
April 19th, 1995.
If you are anywhere downtown, you probably heard it and felt it.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
A day Oklahomans will never forget.
The explosion that went off around 9 a.m.
It is chaos down here.
Emergency crews responding from everywhere.
168 of our friends and neighbors killed at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. The largest homegrown terror attack in our nation's history. But that dark day dawned something new for our city and our state. The Oklahoma Standard. A resilience that has defined us in the hours, days, and nearly 2 decades since the blast. A resilience that will continue to define all of us in the days and years to come. It was Oklahoma's darkest hour. 168 lives lost in the bombing of the Murrah Federal Building.
And tonight, 3 months before that anniversary, we begin our coverage of the attack 20 years later. We will be sharing stories of how our city and state responded and how it's brought out the true spirit of Oklahomans. And we begin with a man who was at the helm during that time, Governor Frank Keating. I sat down to talk with him 2 decades later.
You can't forget a searing time like that.
An explosion at 9 o'clock this morning in Oklahoma City.
On the morning of April 19th, 1995, Governor Frank Keating had just returned from the Metro prayer breakfast when he got the word.
Somebody came rushing in and said there's apparently been a natural gas explosion at the Murrah Federal Office Building.
But when he saw the devastation with his own eyes, he knew otherwise. So you knew immediately this was an act of, some kind of act of terrorism.
Call me cynical or call me suspicious, but when I saw that, I said, you know, no, somebody blew that building up. We've got to, and it's filled with people. This is a bad deal.
Turns out his years of experience in law enforcement and gut instinct proved he was right. A parked rental truck full of explosives blew up in front of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, demolishing the entire north side of the building, killing 168 people, 19 of which were children. The explosion damaged or destroyed more than 300 buildings downtown. What was the first thing you did? Do you remember?
Well,
what was the first call you made? Or?
Well, the first thing I did was get our senior team together. Then I went over to our command and control center, which is underneath the Capitol grounds, and talked to President Clinton. And he said, what do you need? And I said, I think everything.
In the days and weeks ahead, just over 12,000 volunteers and rescue workers helped in the rescue and recovery efforts.
You don't know if somebody is willing to risk himself or herself to save others, but Oklahomans did that.
Authorities arrested Timothy McVeigh in the bombing, a Gulf War veteran who sought revenge against the federal government. Were you surprised it was domestic terrorism?
What stunned me the most was that somebody who should know better, somebody who wanted to make a political statement, would kill 19 babies and a total of 168 of our neighbors and friends. I mean, what an evil, worthless piece of junk he is. I mean, that was my reaction.
The investigation resulted in the execution of McVeigh and a life sentence without parole for his accomplice, Terry Nichols. The surviving structure of the Murrah building was demolished in May of 1995. Today, the area is home to the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum, a place to honor the victims, survivors, and rescue workers. It is an amazing thing what has happened here, isn't it, over the last 20 years?
People were so enamored with the story of this city. We wish all those wonderful people were still here, but hopefully, out of evil, good comes, and bad things make good people respond, and we certainly responded.
Governor Keating was a tremendous leader during that time. I don't care what political party you're affiliated with. He did a terrific job, and so did the First Lady, Kathy Keating. And that shot of Timothy McVeigh in the orange jumpsuit, that was at the Perry Courthouse, and you guys were both there that day.
In Noble County. I remember getting up there early that afternoon, and just the snipers on the building, not that many people, and then as word got out of who we were expecting to come out of that building, I mean, that small town square turned into thousands of people.
Yep.
And, I just remember the sketch that was drawn. Remember that sketch that went around for the days before? And then when he walked out, was brought out, everybody just like, oh my gosh.
It looked just like him.
It looked just like the sketch
sure
that everybody had been passing around and gone worldwide. So anyway.
We have a lot
crazy.
more coverage coming up between now and the anniversary.
Hard to believe it's been
20
real
years.
hard to believe. Yep.